League of Maidens has finally launched and now everyone's dipping their toes into the cold water, testing out whether the game is what they had been waiting for. I played League of Maidens for one day, getting through most of its content before reaching the typical repetitive quest gameplay loop. As part of my early impressions, I will be giving you a quick overlook at the game in its current state, but just a heads up, I'm aware it's a free-to-play title in early access made by only a couple people, and as such, I have lowered my level of criticism for certain aspects of the game. With that in mind, let's get started. League of Maidens, in its simplest form, is a fast-paced real-time action superhero RPG where you get to create your dream waifu and kick some monster ass in a small sandbox world full of alien-like creatures invading the planet which you must protect. Right from the get-go, you are given several classes to choose from between two factions which consist of typical classes like warrior, tank, healer, and so on. Thanks to quick introduction videos to each class, it's quite easy to find your desired class, not having to jump in blindly hoping for the best.
This invisibility cloak, combined with her ability to instantly blink across the battlefield, allows the assassin to use stealth and speed to position herself perfectly.
Once you have made your choice, it's time for the character customization. In other words, it's time for your dream waifu. League of Maidens character customization is quite advanced, almost rivaling the likes of Black Desert thanks to its many customization options. It is the crown jewel of the game, giving you the opportunity to create sexy waifus to draw at as you play. Now, having said that, I will have to get back to the character customization later in this video. Even though the game can appear confusing at first, League of Maidens comes with a full-fledged tutorial that teaches you most of its ropes so you know how to play the game, though the information can be quite overwhelming and the tutorial itself far too long for its own good.
Cadet, this fog, it's starting to spread and the bodies are piling up.
Anya, we crossed the river.
Checkpoint 1 should be straight ahead.
Come on, move! Move! Just move like Vishy, move like the wind. Come on, move fast like Vishy would, dude. Come on, move!
I can't take it anymore! I just want to die!
Despite this, it is still something you don't want to sleep through, but then again, if you find yourself not knowing how to do certain things in the game, the global in-game chat is full of helpful players willing to offer their guidance. There is a lot of confusion surrounding League of Maidens due to its very obvious MMORPG nature and appearance, but make no mistake, League of Maidens is actually a single-player experience where the only multiplayer feature currently is the leaderboard and ability to talk with other players using the global chat. Beyond the global chat, there is no other physical players to interact with, and while this might put some of you off, know that the developers are looking to add more multiplayer features into their game if League of Maidens is able to succeed. However, currently things are not looking so good. If you have been looking at the Steam player reviews, you probably have noticed just how badly the game has been received. With mostly negative reviews, much of it directed towards the game's heavy mobile game-like monetization business model, but we will get to that later. League of Maidens comes with a sizable story to follow, much of it pretty generic, below average, boring, and so awfully written that some of the story scenes can be downright laughable.
I will skull fuck you upside the head, Jonathan, and I don't even know what the hell that means. You hear me?
Well, you go ahead and you do that, Dorothy. You go ahead and you do that. I'd love to see you try it. I'd love to see you try.
This needle-dick motherfucker left my granddaddy's watch at the house before we left.
Needle dick!
Luckily, however, and quite surprisingly enough, the game manages to save its story with an outstanding voice acting for some of its characters.
Good old Private Howard's gonna take it easy on you. Now go on, get your shield out and get those sweet cheeks on the mat. You got this, darling.
Okay, fine. You make sure you kill every last one of them. Make them pay for what they did to my Jenny.
When it comes to your physical, psychological, and intellectual attributes, yes. Compared to the average woman, you are stronger, faster, smarter, and more resilient. Sure. Like a superhero.
These type of games often are not something people play for their stories, so even with an uninteresting story to follow, you are not really losing anything from the experience. Rather, the voice acting, which is quite rare in these type of games, only adds more life into the world that otherwise can look somewhat pale and cheap. Freedom City is the main sandbox area that you will be spending most of your time in, a ruined city infested with hostile aliens and a place where you get to go wild with all your superpowers. For a modern gamer, League of Maidens' world can be quite repulsive to look at, but for someone like myself who grew with MMOs like Lineage 2 and Darkfall, the world graphics and design is really not what I'm looking for in this type of game, though certainly a more beautiful world to enjoy would be greatly appreciated. However, what will capture your interest is not the world nor the quest, but the combat. League of Maidens' combat can still be a bit rough around the edges, in need of more polish, but it certainly have what it takes to make an addictingly fun, fast-paced real-time action combat. That is what made me stick around after the tutorial, and I think it is the same reason that will get you hooked as well. I cannot speak for the other classes, but for the entirety that I played as a sorceress, I had so much fun deploying turrets, firing my gun and using magic to deal with my enemies, all which in combined creates a tactical real-time combat that forced me to constantly keep moving and finding combos to deal the most damage. While most of the enemies are your typical trash mobs just waiting to be killed, there are a few enemy types that do require you to stay on your toes, or else they will destroy you within few attacks. Fighting these more challenging monsters is where the combat really starts getting interesting and fun. And talking about fun, there's flying in the game, and damn does it feel awesome! At any moment, if you got the stamina for it, you can just take off into the sky with super speed and fly around reaching rooftops of tall buildings and even do aerial combat. The last time I had this much fun flying around in a video game was when I introduced Wildlife, another game where you can fly around freely, but here it feels a lot more meaningful simply because there is an actual game built around it. As you get through the first wave of fetch quests and other run-of-the-mill type of quests, you will eventually reach your first stronghold quest, which can kinda be described as dungeons from MMORPGs. These strongholds offer tougher challenges to face, though they can feel quite boring due to their unimaginative one-type simple design of same-looking rooms one after another. This is pretty much where the game starts its repetitive nature, where you begin your journey to defeat all the stronghold bosses, and it's also the point where my knowledge of the game ends, at least for now, for I must play further to learn more about League of Maidens. I must say, the gameplay experience is a mixed bag of good and bad. It's no secret that I did not expect much from League of Maidens going in, as becomes apparent from my last video about the game. This is not your next level high budget MMO, but a free-to-play title made by just 3 people that mostly sell its gameplay to you with its strong sex appeal. If you have zero interest in the big poopy waifu girls, it kinda takes a lot away from the experience. However, there is only so far that boobies can take you, so naturally the gameplay has to be fun in order for you to be able to continue to enjoy it in the long run. To that I say, there definitely is a lot of potential here if given the time and opportunity to succeed, but unfortunately the developers do not make it easy for themselves to gain people's trust and a willingness to support their game, and the reason for this pretty much falls down to the awful monetization business model, so horrendous that it puts many other games with predatory microtransactions to shame. From different type of loot boxes to casino-like randomized spin-the-wheel minigames, League of Maidens looks like a Chinese mobile game built for PC. Within few moments after having created your character, the game introduces you to… actually no. The game throws you into its microtransaction hell that is the main home screen, with zero explanation or tutorial on what the hell it is that you are looking at. Almost every single icon you see on the screen is tied to the microtransactions in some way, and it is at this point any new player realizes just what they have got themselves into, and also whether they wish to continue forward.
You serious?
It's a great way to make any new player to quit the game in an instant, and I bet it was this moment many rushed to write their Steam reviews, damning the game before even giving it a proper chance, though I cannot blame them. This is pretty disgusting and tells a lot about the nature of the game and the future it will hold. However, it is just a home screen. You can play a lot of League of Maidens without having to worry about microtransactions. The game leaves you well enough alone to do quests, kill monsters and explore the Freedom City and other areas without constantly shoving its microtransactions in your face. It is only when you do certain actions that the game reminds you that much of its content is put behind a paywall. For example, there are multiple currencies similar to many mobile games where the basic gold currency is not your best friend. Rather, premium shards are the most valued currency purchasable from the in-game store with real money that pretty much acts as the god currency for almost everything that requires player action. It is not only cosmetics as one would imagine, but rather almost everything from opening loot boxes to resurrecting your character after death and certain items. More often than not, the game asks you to spend premium shards over gold. Like seriously, why do I need to pay to open a loot box that I have earned and already own? That's just the greediest thing I can think of. That's like asking you to pay to be able to wear an armor set that you have earned by playing the game. It makes no sense whatsoever for other than milking you out of your precious resources in hope you will run out of them eventually and pay for them using real money. You can use gold to purchase general items like potions and certain gear. It is not like the gold is a completely useless currency, it still does its job to get what you need in order to build your character stronger, but if you're looking to earn cosmetic rewards simply by playing the game, well, that's not how League of Maidens is built. Sex sells and the developers know it, so they are relying on you being horny enough to eventually open up your wallet to buy some skins. And while there is absolutely nothing wrong with offering premium skins, especially for a free-to-play title, the problem arises, at least currently as far as I know, that the game is not willing to give you any new cosmetics simply by playing the game. Now this is a problem in my eyes because in these type of games, your character's appearance plays a vital role in your overall enjoyment. If you can't gain new outfits every once in a while by doing quests and other activities, eventually you will probably get bored looking at your high-level character still strolling in the costume that you started with. When it comes to the prices of these cosmetics, they range around $5 to $10, with hairstyles and other minor accessories going for something around $2 to $3. I must say, some of these outfits are downright jaw-droppingly gorgeous, and something I definitely would enjoy purchasing to not only wear for my character, but also to support the developers. However, I think their hairstyles and some of the accessories is taking it too far. The developer restricted the character customization to a point that you have no other option but to pay with real money if you want to make your character look anything unique beyond the preset models. It is this kind of greedy monetization decisions that pulls me away from wanting to support the developers at all. Now, assuming you are willing to pay to customize your character, there is actually a pretty neat feature allowing you to change your character's appearance wherever and whenever you want. For example, after I had made a short character, later on I came to a conclusion that I actually wanted a character with the same height as the NPCs, and it was really awesome that I could just quickly move the slider to change my character's height. Also, once I had grown fed up to my character's look, again, it was super convenient that I could just jump back to the character customization to change my character's appearance rather than having to make a completely new character. If you are looking to throw some money at the game, there is also the possibility to strip your character all the way naked, either through one-time payment that is laughably overpriced, or through monthly subscription that also grants you other benefits. I think this is a feature that everyone who enjoys the game is probably going to get at some point, and having tried the nudity mode myself for review purposes, I can safely say that yes, this is definitely a feature that you want if you are looking to play League of Maidens for a long time. The character models are high quality and well made, so a bit of eye candy in the shower or outside of it while playing does help to spice things up a bit. Now personally, I would not pay the ridiculous $50 price they ask for the nude cheat code, but then again, like I said, if you are looking to play the game for a very long time, you might as well treat yourself while supporting the developers who provide you free entertainment. With everything said about League of Maidens microtransactions, now the question lies, is it really worth your time and money? I personally see a lot of potential in League of Maidens despite its gross overpriced and monetized business model. I think this game will eventually hit a point where it is worth your attention, if not already, assuming the game succeeds and the devs are able to improve upon it by polishing out the bugs and other minor issues, as well as bringing more quests and activities and multiplayer features. You have to remember, this is an early access title in its first early stage made by just a couple dudes, so it will require time to get better, but what it offers right now can deliver decently fun time if your expectations are low from the start and you know what you are in for. I think it could be very exciting to be part of the journey to see the game become something better than what it is today, and while I don't know if I'm going to actually stick with it for the long run, surprisingly enough, I do find myself craving to get back to experience more of the flying mechanic and combat, and I think I will stay around for just a little bit longer. Now, do I recommend League of Maidens to you despite its mobile-like microtransaction hell? Yes, I actually do. Bottom line is, it's a free game, so even if you find yourself not liking it, it's not like you wasted any money on it. I just hope that you don't give up on it within the first hour. I know the tutorial section is anything but fun, but by pushing through and getting to the Freedom City, that is the point where you truly know if the game is for you or not. If you would like me to make more videos about League of Maidens in the future, let me know in the comments. Also, if you have already played the game, I would really like to know what you think of it. For more adult gaming news and reviews delivered uncensored, check out my website by visiting my Patreon or Twitter page. Due to YouTube guidelines, I cannot offer any direct links here. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. With everything said and done, I will see you in the next video.